It's a feel good Friday morning on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's 33 minutes past 6 a.m., 11th day in the month of October 2024. You're listening to the Smooth Breakfast. Ayokunmi taking you into your feel good Friday morning, getting you set for an amazing day as you look ahead to a great weekend. But before you begin to think fully about enjoying yourself, putting your feet up, let's talk some business on a Tech Friday edition of Business Express. Welcome along to an interactive ride as it always is. We'd love to get your thoughts in on the issues that we'll be discussing. So come through on WhatsApp and share them with us on 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. That is the WhatsApp number. You can also join the live stream on YouTube. We're streaming at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos is the YouTube channel handle. All right, we'll be talking about a couple of things today. Google is in the news. AI primarily is going to be the focus of our conversation this morning. And joining me to, give her thoughts and, of course, just make some sense of it, as I love to say, because there's a lot of things you need to make sense of everything. Get all the wheat separated from the chaff at the end of the day. Nkebet Mesele is our guest this morning. She is a payment expert. Nkebet, good morning to you. Great to have you on Business Express.
Good morning, Ayo. Nice to have you too. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Okay, I mean, before we go there, we're talking about AI and having a good laugh over it, but more serious issues at hand here. The US says it plans to break up Google's search dominance, and let me just take an excerpt of the story, and then we'll get into the conversation proper. Now, the U.S. Department of Justice's proposed remedies to break up Google's search dominance could weaken its main profit engine and stall its advances in artificial intelligence, even though a final outcome may be years away. That's according to analysts. Now, that being said, how do you think this could impact online security, especially in how user data is protected across multiple smaller platforms?
Okay. When I saw that article, I said, "Oh wow, of all things for Google to be dealing with, it's bad enough that they were late in the AI game. They had
Mm,
expected to have built AI a lot more faster up to this time. OpenAI sort of beat them to it. And
right.
so for them, it was let us collaborate with OpenAI as much as we can until we build ours. But the DOJ, Department of Justice, is they're coming from a place of how do we ensure that we do not create a monster that we cannot stop?
Mm,
Today, as many browsers as we have, DuckDuckGo, Microsoft Bing, Firefox, everyone still Googles. Everyone goes to Google. Google has crawlers everywhere. Google is listening to your conversation. The minute
annoyingly
you have
so.
the minute you have Google on your phone, you have Google is listening. And that is what makes search really strong. Google has web crawlers that picks things from everywhere, which is why anything, pretty much anything you want, you can get on Google. So the DOJ is of the opinion that, you know what, if Google is this strong, imagine if they have their own AI, what
Mm,
is going to happen? How do we ensure that we democratize this thing? How do we ensure that we're not creating a monster? And so, what the DOJ seeks to do is not to say, okay, Google, you cannot do this because we don't like you. What they're planning to do, and I don't know if it will work, it's still really news now, is Google, if you must do this, then you must ensure that you you democratize this part of your business. Now, what would that do? That would help other companies, break that monopoly with them. And so think of it like Meta, Binge is going to be happy because as they develop their own AI platforms, it makes them stronger. Now,
mm,
that doesn't really help Google, in that sense. But I think it's really important because, you know, today we have data flying up and down.
oh, yes.
Today we have people who are using ChatGPT to create all sorts of things, right? And
Right.
then plugging it into Google. So from a data privacy, they're saying, Google, you have accumulated a lot of data, which is great. But what we need you to do is either share all the data you collect or stop gathering it in the first place. Now, I'm thinking if I'm Google, I would choose the former. So, i.e., I would choose to share my data as long as I'm allowed to bring in some sort of machine learning into the process. So I
Mm,
believe Google is still going to try to implement its AI, but will agree to the DOJ's demand of democratizing its data so that all the other search engines can come in to play.
mm. Okay, now off the back of that, do you foresee any risks or security challenges if Google is actually forced to scale back its search operations? And does this imply any risk for African businesses specifically?
I wouldn't say risk, and I don't think Google would scale back. I think Google is smart enough to collect data in different forms. So they can collect it through music. They can collect it through other channels that they own. Remember, they don't just collect data through search. They collect data through maps. They collect data
Mm,
through
mm.
Google for Business. They collect data through, they have many other platforms that they aggregate data from.
Okay,
So
and
just
I'm just
mhm.
curious. I'm just curious here. How would they gather data from music? Do you mean in terms of an individual's music taste specifically?
Learning. So learning
Okay, okay,
patterns, learning
okay, okay,
behaviors.
okay.
So, when you search, a lot of people feel, oh, when I search, I just search. No, when you search, it brings in your behavior, which is why when you say me and you were talking about Banana Island, when you go online, a lot of the adverts you will see will be Banana Island. You'll be
Mm,
wondering, but how
mm.
did Google know? Intuitively, they have listened. And so it is not just going to be search. So if they scale back on search, I think Google is just going to up its intelligence in other aspects to
Okay.
enable them provide that sort of service that everyone is used to. So search may affect the type of things we see, but I don't think it would fully affect the level of service that Google will provide because they get their intelligence from different places. And I don't know
Interesting.
how the DOJ wants to mandate scaling back on search, really.
Well, as you mentioned earlier in this conversation, that I mean, Google has a stronghold on a number of people because even if you like you mentioned different browsers, people still tend to Google search things. Like it's like second
Exactly.
nature. Oh, we're having an argument. Check on Google. Google search it. It's like
Exactly.
I mean, you don't say oh Bing search it or something. It's always Google search it, no
Exactly.
matter where you are or whatever device it is that you are using. So I don't know how that's going to work out at the end of the day. But hey, when it comes to AI, Google definitely needs to, should I say, get their foot firmly in the
Yes.
game. Now still talking about AI, because I mentioned earlier on that it's an AI-centric sort of morning on this Tech Friday edition of Business Express. Now, OpenAI have said that they've seen continued attempts by threat actors to use its models for election influence. And
Mhm.
it's they've seen attempts where its AI models have been used to generate fake content, including long form articles and social media comments. Now, these are aimed at influencing elections. Now, the ChatGPT maker said in a report that came out on a Wednesday. Now, that in itself is a scary thought, as AI models have become more widely used in influencing elections. Now, would AI be used to manipulate or target voters, and how can governments actually safeguard democratic processes? I don't think we have that issue in Nigeria right now. Anyways, let's talk about it where the issue actually is.
Okay. When I was listening to you, I said it's that proverbial you're worried about the tortoise and then you're worried about the hare and then the tortoise wins the election. So so it's even gone beyond just articles. When OpenAI sent that news, they were speaking about articles, people generating articles. The good thing is they raised the alarm, but those articles haven't really scaled. So it's more or less hasn't fully affected the outcomes of the election. Now, let me tell you what has affected deepfakes.
Mm,
So
mm.
deepfakes is another type of AI, and deepfakes is, remember when I joined the call where you said, "Oh, you're looking bright," and I was like, "Are you sure you're speaking to me or my AI avatar?" So, so we've seen deepfakes really come fully in this election. Now, it was so bad that the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, actually passed a ban on deepfakes and said, for you to use deepfakes, you must clearly label it as a parody. So if you just go to YouTube now and you type Kamala Harris parody, you would see videos of her voice, her face, her voice, saying things about the election, but it is not her. It is AI. And so everybody, people are using it in different ways that they want, and it's really affecting their parodies of Donald Trump as well. So it's really affecting when people are not sensitive to it and don't know that when you see something called a parody, or when you see that little line up that says this is fiction, then it is AI and not the person speaking.
Mm.
So America has recognized it, and though they know they cannot stop it, what they have put in the meantime is this measure to say if you must post things that are AI generated, either being an article or being a video, you need to articulate it and you need to label it as such.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, and even though we don't have that problem yet, we're having it because unfortunately, we do not have such laws in Nigeria. Our laws are still somewhat in the 90s, right? So as individuals, we just need to be circumspect. But that is changing the way people react to the election. That is changing people who are not sensitive. It's reacting to the way they influence their decision making because they don't know what is what and what is not. You would have to know it's a parody to know this person did not say this. So,
All right, all right. Very well said. I mean, we all need to be circumspect because right now, I mean, we're living in a world where it can be difficult to tell fact from fiction. So
exactly.
never take everything at face value. Ask questions, do deeper research, and just try to, get to the roots of the particular article, the video, the audio, whatever it is. You never can tell whether it's AI or something else. Anyways, it has been a great morning here. Let me take a quick message that just came in. Taya says, with epileptic power supply, we will not suffer too much about AI. I'm sure people like Taylor Swift and co are aware of the dangers of deep fakes. Tayo, you are on Twitter. You see things that fly around every single day. Make of that what you will. All right, give us
And I
Mesele.
think
Good.
just before I leave, I just want
Okay.
to, so it's Cybersecurity Month. And it's important to just let people know. We may say, oh, deepfakes are not coming to Nigeria, but we all need to be cyber secure. We need to think about where are we putting our information? Where is data privacy in our lives every day?
Mm.
Where are you putting your email address? Where are you putting your phone number? How far is your information flying around? So everybody just needs to be conscious about how they protect their data and they protect themselves.
All right. Thank you for the words of advice in Nkebet. It's been a great morning with you on Business Express. Absolutely fantastic. Have a great Friday and a great weekend as well.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you all for joining in on Business Express this beautiful Friday morning. Keep it tuned to Smooth 98.1 and the Smooth Breakfast as you get along to work. There'll be more great music coming up your way as we get ready to get into the papers on Freshly Pressed at 7:30. Brought to you by